Welcome to the quietest ones in the room with your host Trey. I gotta say it, just the fact that you've clicked onto this video and you are listening to the sound of my voice, you by far are the most intelligent people on the face of the planet. So once again, thank you for joining me. So recently I was listening to an interview with Patrick Bet-David, known as PBD, with Charleston White. And they had a very interesting interview. And I listened to the entirety, but there was a point in the interview that I wanted to talk about from an economic perspective. Patrick Bet-David said something that I know to be a motivational lie. I don't know if it's because it's something that's told to immigrants who desire to come to America and achieve the American dream, or what's really behind this saying. I know where the research comes from, but I want to play this clip and then I want to talk about what I think regarding what he said.
Capitalism.
A lot of people don't start off with the capital.
Most Americans won't get it and won't start off with it, according to what we're looking at today's Americans.
87% of millionaires are self-made. Most of billionaires, a lot of them inherited the money. Sure, you can put a number to it, but millionaires, 87% are self-made.
They had a difference.
Okay, so right off the jump, we can address that Charleston White made the correct statement. Most people won't start off with it, and most people won't have it. And Patrick Bet-David circles back with the talking point of 87% of millionaires in this country are self-made. And so just for that, I haven't done Clown of the Day in a long time, but I'm going to give him Clown of the Day just for using that statement because it's not true. There was a time when people believed that Bill Gates was self-made, that Elon Musk was self-made, that Mark Zuckerberg was self-made, that many of the billionaires that we know today who have built their monopolies and their empires are self-made. And it's just not true. The reality of what it means to be self-made is different than the context in which Patrick Bet-David used it. How many people who are millionaires legitimately start something that didn't exist before? Who are actually entrepreneurs, who build wealth from scratch? That is rare. Most millionaires are highly paid and have been highly paid W-2 employees. In that millionaire group, let's just take this as an example. In the millionaire group, you have NBA players as an example. If you didn't know this, NBA players are W-2 employees. And just like any other W-2 employee, you have full-time support. So as a W-2 employee who saves up money, makes a high salary like Tim Cook, you can never claim to be truly self-made by definition of what it means to be self-made. See, they kind of remixed the idea of what it means to be self-made. And what I think it actually means when he says that 87% of people are self-made, I think what he's truly saying is 87% of people who are millionaires is not truly understood how they've achieved their wealth. I know from statistics from Fidelity and Credit Suisse and the Spectrum Group that they're going to say, yeah, we did a study and we asked people and we looked at their assets and we, from their statements, have concluded that they're self-made. But the reality is many people, once again, as I mentioned, are millionaires through being highly paid W-2 employees who many of them save their income and put it into a 401k and eventually become millionaires. Or you're some TV pundit who is working for Fox and you have a high salary. You work for Good Morning America. You work for Disney. As I mentioned, you work for the NBA. But beyond that, you truly don't have many people who are self-made, who started from scratch, becoming millionaires. If you just look at our tax system, that paints the picture and tells the reality, even when you look at the Federal Reserve numbers, of how wealth is developed in this country. Many people are getting wealthy through wealth transfers, estates, life insurance policies from grandma, granddad, mom, dad, uncles, aunts. People are passing land off to generations so that they can have a proper footing to actually live the American dream. Because actually, how do you have the American dream in this country without a level of assistance? And so what we're seeing in America now, many people who are living comfortably are doing it through wealth transfers. And so just to go back to this 87% that Patrick Bet-David said, no, I really think it's about 15% of millionaires are truly self-made, meaning they started from scratch. You can't say you went to Walmart and bought a Patty's pie, an apple pie from the store, bring it home, put it on the table when you have guests, and say you made it from scratch. It's just simply not true. Many people receive large amounts of financial support to buy their first home, to pay for their education at these elite institutes. So again, I think a part of the narrative that the 87% are self-made is being put out there is to falsely motivate individuals into thinking that they can achieve it if they don't come from a family who has means or a network that they can access that has means. So I think it's to paint a picture for them, but then I also think it's to keep individuals at bay emotionally and provide them with a feeling that, yeah, you can do it. Let's squash the idea that you'll have any envy towards me, because we know what envy can lead to. Envy can lead to violence. And I think it's a part of the story so people in this country do not become violent. Because if you think you have no hope, that you can't achieve, yes, some people will take it into their own hands and fight for what they believe they deserve. But no, if you just took LeBron James as an example, again, who's a NBA player, who's a W-2 employee, he's made the lion's share of his wealth not off of a business that he created, but through a brand that was already created called the NBA. He's playing at stadiums that he doesn't own. He doesn't own the brand, but he has been able, after getting into the NBA and making large sums of money, to continue making deals with Nike and other brands as maybe a contractor or a business entity to build his wealth. But if someone came to me or you and said Tim Cook is self-made, I would just laugh in their face. He's clearly not self-made. And look at how many CEOs are not founders of the companies that they run. And the idea that someone may say, oh, that employee, that W-2 CEO is self-made, that is a lie. And it's not to put down anyone who's not self-made, but if you paint the right picture, people can actually set themselves up better for success. See, I've decided to take the route of being an entrepreneur and building things because that's what I enjoy. But does that lead most people to be millionaires? No. Most people become millionaires through having a job and saving up money. Having a job and buying their first home and holding that home until assets appreciate and they have a net worth of $1 million. And so therefore they're a millionaire. And so that's another thing that needs to be talked about at some point here, which is, yeah, your net worth can be a million, millions, but it doesn't mean that you have that liquid. But people are taking things out of context and not painting the picture of what's really going on in America which is there are hundreds of trillions of dollars in this country, of which people hold on to and pass through estate transfers. And this just widens the gap of inequality to access the American dream in our country. So with the lie being said over and over and over again, it's something that I can't stand. I know regular people who have no money who repeat the statement. And so I wanted to address it. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Please like, share, and subscribe. And as I always say, ladies and gentlemen, until next time.